That's not Don Zimmer juggling up his lineup, but here is Hector Villanueva winning the ball game yesterday with an 0-2 single to center, scoring Sandberg with the winning run. And tonight, a new series begins with the Montreal Expos, who almost pulled the game out of the fire in the bottom of the ninth themselves in Montreal yesterday. Stay with us for all the thrilling action coming up in a moment.
Chicago Cubs baseball on Channel 9. The Cubs are brought to you by Michelob Dry. Bold taste with no aftertaste. Mick Dry refreshes completely. Buick and your better Buick dealers. Home of the most trouble-free American cars. The Chicago Tribune. Get in the game. Pick up a trib. True Value Hardware. For quality selection and personal attention, make True Value your store of first choice. Your Pepsi-Cola General Bottlers. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. Unical 76. We invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Nissan, built for the human race. Canon Camera, the official camera of the Chicago Cubs. Canon, so advanced, it's simple. And United Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs. Come fly the friendly skies.
Hello again, everybody. From Wrigley Field, Harry Caray with Steve Stone as the Cubs open a four-game series against the Montreal Expos. Boy, you hear how Expos losing 5-1. Going to the bottom of the ninth yesterday, scored 2 runs, had the bases loaded, nobody out before they finally lost.
It was a great series against Pittsburgh, and hopefully this will be a great series. Sean Bosky going to the mound for the Cubs, and Mark Gardner going to the mound for the Expos. But Tim Raines is not in the lineup. He's going to have a bone scan tomorrow, and it looks like he won't play in this series.
Boy, the weather is ideal. The crowd is going to be jam-packing Wrigley Field, and we're all going to have a good time tonight. So stay with us. We'll have the lineups for you in a moment. Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman from Wrigley Field. Well, before we give you the lineups, here's Bill Lutzer, the retiring executive of the Chicago Television Channel 9. A wonderful guy. I didn't know he was a southpaw before. Did you notice him throwing it out there with his left hand? We could use a couple of left-handed pitchers. I don't think, though, that he intends to follow baseball as a career any longer. Bill Lutzer of WGN-TV retiring at the end of this year. The All-State Good Hands Award was presented before the game to who else? Ryne Sandberg. You could give him the All Hands Award. You could give him the All Bat Award. You could give the All Base Stealing Award. He's having a tremendously great year. There are the umpires talking with Buck Rogers, the fine manager of the Expos. And here are the lineups. For the Expos, Martinez. That's the same Davey Martinez that we used to have in center field. Owen at short. Walker in right. Galarraga at first. Wallach at third. Aldretti in left. Santovenia, the catcher. Foley, the second baseman. And Mark Gardner, who was beaten by the Cubs starter tonight, last week in Montreal, 2-1. Mike Gardner, who's won 3 and lost 3, with an earned run average of 2.19. For the Cubs, Dwight Smith in left. Ryne Sandberg at second. Mark Grace at first. Andre Dawson in right. Marvell Wynn in center. Curtis Wilkinson at third. Sean Dunston at short. Joe Girardi catching. And Sean Bosky, who's won 2, lost 3, earned run average 3.50, will be on the mound. The umpires are Charlie Relaford behind the plate, Randy Marsh at first, Wendell Stitt at second, Fred Brocklander at third. We're all ready to play baseball on a beautiful evening. And boy, there's the defense of the Cubs with Bosky in the center of your picture there, your diagram, right on the mound, which is the one most important position that the Cubs have been looking for all year long. I'm just looking out towards the center field bleachers. Boy, I tell you, Murphy's must be crowded, Bernie's must be crowded, Cubby Bears must be crowded, all the other saloons in the neighborhood must be crowded because there are empty seats in center field. I've never seen that before. So, come on, ring the bell in those taverns. Let the guys get over to the ballpark. There they come. They're on their way a little late, better late than never.
Sean Bosky going to the mound for his 7th major league start and his 2nd against the Expos. He faced him on June 19th in Montreal, and he was brilliant in that one, going 6 2/3 innings, giving up 5 hits and no runs. He walked just 1. He fanned 4. It was his 2nd major league win. And so now they know him, he knows them, and it's going to be a game of adjustment for Sean Bosky. But one of the real fine Expo players is not in the lineup. Tim Raines, still suffering from a bad ankle. He will have a bone scan tomorrow, and he'll probably be lost for the series. And that's a lot of stolen bases, along with Delino DeShields, who will not play in this series.
There is Tim Raines, great ball player, 30 years old. All right, the first pitch. Davey Martinez leading off. Swings and he misses, and he fouls it back. Martinez 3 out of 12 for the year against the pitching of the Cubs, hitting .315, 5 homers, 18 RBI. Sean Bosky out of Reno, Nevada. That evens the count, a ball and a strike. There is Dennis Martinez. He pitched a great game again yesterday. Was leading 1-0 for 5 innings. Tied at 1-1 for 6. Then left the game. His relief gave up 2 and 1. And the Expos were trailing Pittsburgh 5-1 going to the bottom of the 9th. Wallach hit a 2-run double. Men are at second and third. The next guy walked. Now the score was 5-3 and nobody out. With 41,000 screaming fans on hand, they couldn't get the hit they wanted. There's a high pop foul. Girardi, no chance. A souvenir for somebody. Hey, there is Andres Galarraga, the fine first baseman of the Expos.
When this season started, Dave Martinez was on the bench. Marquise Grissom getting the first shot in center field. Martinez bided his time. Now with Grissom on the shelf, Dave's getting a chance to play, and he's making the most of it.
Now the pitcher it is. Fouls it back. You know, Bosky signed with the Cubs in 1986. That's 4 years ago. He was then 19 years old. So it's only taken him 4 years. He's had 4 years in the minor leagues, and here he is in the big leagues at the tender age of 23. He struck him out with a change of pace curveball. 1 out. There's Spike Owen.
Bosky has learned to take something off, and this is a good breaking ball. It was not only the location, but the velocity that fooled Martinez, and that motion made it look like a hard breaking ball, but it just didn't get to the plate.
Our good friend Buddy Romano with Bartles and James watching the ball game here. Buddy, a great Notre Dame man, went to school there. All of his children are graduates of Notre Dame. And boy, when you send 4 or 5 kids through Notre Dame, you know you got to be in a high rent district. You got to have some of the loot.
Or have a very friendly banker.
No, that's Don Trump. The pitch, a little over the outside corner. There's Tim Burke. He's on the disabled list, but he's about ready to come off of it. Out of Omaha, Nebraska.
And in his place, Dave Schmidt has done an outstanding job with 9 saves.
There's a high pop fly. Marvell Wynn is there. Makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down. Boy, every time you see Bosque, he looks better. He's getting the confidence. He changes speeds naturally and well. Well, the WGN truck crew have congratulations to PJ and Teresa Belgio from Naperville on the birth of their son, Douglas Paul Belgio.
The shortest stint for Sean Bosque was 6 innings, so he's getting his innings in.
Here's Larry Walker. He's 1 out of 9 against Cubs pitching, hitting .246. 5 homers.
He's a good low ball hitter, but he has problems with a high fastball.
He fouls the pitch back. He's a Canadian. Steve Wilson of the Cubs is a Canadian. And one Canadian may face another Canadian in this series. Steve may start one of the ball games, I would imagine. If not, certainly relieving one. He had a good cut, fouled it back.
That's the spot you want to throw to Walker. And in fact, if Bosque decides to go up a little higher, he's going to throw it by him. Walker got off to a hot start, but the National League pitchers have adjusted to him, and they're burying the ball up and in and just throwing the ball by him.
High pop foul out of play. Birthday greetings to James Mannion from Clearwater, Florida, watching the game. And the pitch. Almost struck him out. Did he go around? They appealed. Nope. And the count is even up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's Rick Sutcliffe. This is before Rick was throwing. Watch how easily he's throwing. That's a long way to come yet. Here's ball 3 low. 3-2. Happy 35th anniversary to Mary Ann and Jack Khalil Jayberg. Friends of Bill and Colleen Lutzer. You saw Bill throw out the first pitch, the retired WGN executive. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 men are out. The pitch. Hey, foul tip. Bob and Helen O'Brien, the Wilmette, their 30th wedding anniversary. Enjoying it here at the ballpark. And there's Hector Villanueva sitting out in the bullpen. Ball 4, Walker walks. That's the first base on balls. And Bosque almost struck him out on 2 different pitches.
This will be an interesting confrontation because in Montreal, when Bosque faced Galarraga, he kept throwing the fastball inside, which is the way you have to pitch, Andres. He dives into the ball, looks for the ball out over the plate where he can extend his arms, and so if you jam him, he has some problems. But they exchanged a couple of words on a couple of high-tight fastballs, and Bosque shouldn't deviate from his pattern. Inside is the best place to Galarraga.
Low and outside. Walker pretty fast. He has swiped 9 bases. Been caught stealing 3 times. Low and outside, ball 2. And Girardi calls time, trots out to talk to Bosque. There's still patches of sunlight across the field in center field. And a little down the left field foul line. And so the lights don't have their full impact yet.
Here's a dangerous pitch to Galarraga. Bosque aimed the first 2. He was trying to hit the outside corner. Now he's got to come in 2-0.
Line drive, right center field, base hit. Marvell Wynn gets the ball back in the infield, and they have runners at first and third with 2 out, and their best and most dangerous hitter coming up, Tim Wallach, who leads them in home runs with 11.
Fastball right down the middle, 2-0, and Bosky went away from what was effective in Montreal, which was the inside fastball. He threw 3 pitches away, and the last one had a little too much of the plate.
Runners first and third. Ken Singleton, who used to play with Baltimore and with the Mets, fine outfielder. Here's the pitch to Wallach, low and outside. Is in the booth next to us, televising back to Montreal. His grandmother, who's named Quinella Hathaway, lives in Maywood Proviso. I know you'd like that name, Arnie. Here's the pitch. Yeah. Have you lost a bob or two on a Quinella? Maybe she's got a daughter named Trifecta Hathaway. Anyway, Mrs. Hathaway, your grandson is in the booth next door. And he always wants to send his regards to you.
Tim Wallach said that it's unusual that different teams will pitch him completely different ways. He said the Cubs have worked him with hard stuff, primarily in. The Pirates worked him with all breaking balls, and Bosky has gone 3 straight times to the hard stuff. If he does come in, he wants to come in up. Wallach is a good low ball hitter.
The pitch. Whoa, a good save by Girardi. Nice play, Joe. And, you know, I tell you, Joe Girardi, for a young catcher, you know, he gets a lot of pass balls, a lot of wild pitches. You never know when it's his fault at all. It's a tough pitching staff because they are wild.
I mean, he's getting better and better in the pitch in the dirt. He's having problems with the pitch right around the strike zone.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was a good save, and it saved Bosky his 3rd wild pitch of the year.
Boy, Bilecki's got, of course, he throws that fork ball. That's why he has so many wild pitches. Hot smash. Nice play by Sandberg over to first. That ball was really hit hard. 1 hit, 2 men left on base, no score. We go in the bottom of the first. Here's an old friend of yours and of ours, Dwayne Stats, now a telecaster for the Yankees. Now listen, how could you just leave us in the lurch? With our team losing, you go to New York.
Harry, I knew when I left it with you and Stoney, this club was in great hands. But I don't know, what have you done?
I don't know, but you were with a loser in Houston, too, and the Yankees aren't exactly good either.
I'll tell you, they're struggling right now. They're forced to go with the kids, and that's what they're doing right now is looking at some of the young teams, or the young players on their system.
All right. I wish we had more time to talk to you.
Me too.
Luck.
Good luck to you.
Good
Nice to see you guys again. Take care.
Dwayne Stats.
Mark Gardner's best pitch is the big curveball, and he threw it very well against the Cubs in Montreal, going 7 innings, giving up just 3 hits.
1-1 pitch. That's 2 strikes and the ball. There's their defense. Aldrete in left, Davey Martinez in center, Larry Walker in right. He struck him out. A slow curve. Boy, this kid's a good-looking pitcher. 28 years old. He graduated from college. It's taken him about 5 years to make it to the big leagues, too. He's had more experience. Speaking of college, by the way, here's Sandberg. And that's the reason for the big hand that you're hearing. Lance Dixon, the Cubs number 1 draft pick in the June free agent draft, recorded his first victory yesterday. He worked 5 innings, allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, and struck out 9. That was his 2nd appearance for Geneva in the New York Penn League. In his 2 appearances, there's a bouncing ball. That ought to be easy. Wallach over to first, easy out. 2 up, 2 down. In his 2 appearances, he has struck out 16 men in 9 innings. So apparently, he's a very promising left-hand pitcher. 2 gone, nobody on. Mark Grace. Swung and he missed.
Starting with the All-Star game last year, Rhino hit 19 home runs the second half last year, 21 home runs this season. And that is the #1 home run hitter over the last year.
There's a pitch a little bit high. That's even more than Canseco, Jose Canseco of Oakland.
And Glenn Davis, Mark McGwire, Joe Carter, Kevin Mitchell, Andre Dawson, and on and on. Rhino's #1 with 40 of them.
There's a pitch a little low.
That's the pitch that turned Gardner around. The split finger fastball. He worked on it over the winter, and that made him a major league pitcher. He always had the good curve in the fastball, but now he's got the third pitch, which you definitely need if you're not an overpowering starter.
A little bit inside, ball 3. Gardner's 28 years old, 190-pounder. He's had a lot of experience in the minor leagues. There's a drive to center. Gray singles sharply. And that brings Andre Dawson, who's facing his old teammate. Gardner graduated from Fresno State University. You know, he was selected by the Angels, by the Indians, but he turned down those selections. Finally signed with Montreal in 1985. And that's when he broke in with Jamestown. He pitched at West Palm Beach in the Florida State League, at Jacksonville in the AA Southern League, at Indianapolis AAA. 2 years in a row there. Also at Indianapolis AAA. 2 years there. Finally came up the tail end of the season last year at Montreal. So you can see the difference in experience, although they're both. One's in his second year, the other one's in his first year. But Gardner's 28 and Bosky's 23. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Somebody's in for a surprise. Curveball inside. Andre Dawson hitting .331, 17 homers, 49 RBI.
Gardner's given up 4 home runs in 78 innings, and if he hangs one of those breaking balls with the wind blowing out, it's going to be 5 home runs.
The throw to first, the runner back. A battle for first place opens up at Boston tonight. Toronto against the Red Sox. Red Sox trail only by a half a game. Now the pitch. Outside. Ball 3.
This is one of those situations where you know that Andre Dawson has the green light. Marvell Wynn on deck, and even though he is a left-hand hitter, he's not the force that Dawson is. So Don Zimmer's going to let him go if it's to his liking.
2 men out, 3 balls, no strike. From the left field camera, that's the way Andre Dawson appears to the third baseman. Slow curve with a 3-0 count. A breaking ball over the outside corner. Gardner is not about to throw him a fastball with 3-0.
The outfield is just about as deep as you can get all the way around. Nothing's going over their heads unless it's going out of the ballpark.
The delivery. Fouled it back, and the count is full, 3-2. Toronto got 3 runs in the first of Boston, but they've changed pitchers in the bottom of the first, and Boston is still hitting. Boy, that Dwight Evans, 38-year-old outfielder, a veteran of so many years with the Red Sox. What a year he's been having of late. The White Sox play at California after sweeping Oakland. over the weekend. There goes a runner. The pitch is fouled back to the screen. He didn't have a very good swing at that pitch, and it looked like he was fooled enough so that he tried to hit it to right field.
Well, Andre knows that this is a breaking ball pitcher in Mark Gardner. He knows that 2 of his 3 pitches are going to be off speed, the split finger and the curveball. So he decided to wait back and then pull the trigger a little late. He was surprised by the fastball, but he was able to get a piece of it.
He had 2 doubles off Gardner in Montreal. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The runner will be going. There he goes. The pitch. Struck him out. And that might have been that fork ball. 1 hit, 1 left at the end of 1, no score.
I'm here with 2 lovely ladies, Kathy Maddox and Dee Williams.
Say that again.
And we're talking about the Family Rescue Benefit. And Dee, tell me when it is and what numbers I have to call and what it's all about.
Okay, Family Rescue, we're having a big benefit on July 21st at the Palmer House. And it's a benefit that the Cubs wives have done for the last 5 years for battered women and children. And we want to make this the best year ever. And I'll give you a phone number to call. It's 312-819, sorry Kathy, 4353. And then we have a fan favorite contest going on, and all the guys know about it, where you call in and you vote on your favorite Cub player. It's $2 per call, and $1 goes to Cubs Wives for Family Rescue. And Kathy's going to give you that number.
Okay, Kathy, what is it?
It's 1-900-226-5200.
Well, ladies, it's a wonderful event, and I'm certain that everybody will turn out, and I hope you raise a lot of money.
We know we'll see you guys there because we're having a roast.
Thank you very much.
A great play by Ryan Sandberg going to his right, following with an off-balance throw for the out. Sensational play. Okay, all right. 1 man out.
These look routine when Rhino goes over the middle, but this is a tough play. You have to make the off-balance throw, and he does it easily, and he throws him out by plenty.
1 out, nobody on. Here's Nelson Santovenia, the catcher, hitting .207, has pretty good power. 4 homers, 20 RBI. He had hit a home run earlier to put the Expos ahead of the Pirates 1-0. Then he came up as the first man up with the bases loaded. Expos trailing 5-3 in the bottom of the 9th, and he struck out. There's a high drive, should be caught. Marvell Wynn coming in. 2 men out. Here's Tom Foley. Here's a guy who hurt the Cubs more than anybody else. He had 4 hits in the 3-game series, of which Montreal won 2 of the 3 games. And it was this pairing with Bosque and Gardner that produced the only winning game for Chicago.
Foley was getting no play, a lot like Dave Martinez, and then Delino DeShields went down, and suddenly Foley was in the middle of the action. He doesn't have a lot of pop, but he is an alleys hitter, and he will spray the ball around. In Montreal, he doubled down the line at first base and then to left field.
Now the pitch is outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strike. Cincinnati leading San Francisco 3-0 at the end of 3. The Reds got 3 runs in the first. Fouled it back. And Toronto got 3 in the first in Boston. Then the Red Sox came back and got 6 in their half of the first. Yeah, but listen, Jack Stoker brought up some chili. Jack Stoker, whose wife, I guess she has thought of the name of Ma McNamara's chili. Brady and Stoker distributed. And you talk about a delicious chili. And he brings it up, Arnie, before the game when we have time to eat it, not during the game like you do when you buy pizza. I did eat on you, huh? That's Diane Stoker, the blonde lady in the middle. All right, Foley is on again. Boy, he's always on. And here's Mark Gardner, the pitcher. First pitch in there, a strike call. Gardner has 3 out of 23 as a hitter. One of his 3 hits was a double. Swung and he missed. 0-2, 2 out, 1 man on. Bosky has walked 2. Beautiful night. Just missed the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Charlie Relaford behind the plate.
Cubs might be facing Montreal at a good time because there's an emotional letdown coming off a series for first place. They played a tough series against the Pirates.
There's a high drive going deep, way back, way back. Dwight Smith makes the catch. Boy, oh boy, he covered a lot of ground. He didn't know the guy could hit the ball that far. Gardner, and Smith made a fine catch over his shoulder with 1 hand. We go in the bottom of the 2nd, no score. Harry Caray back at the ballpark. Marvell Wynn will lead it off, hitting 143, 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. We're in the bottom of the 2nd, no score. The Reds lead the Giants 3-1 in the 4th. Pitch is outside. Watch Dwight Smith on the replay of the long drive that ended the top half of the inning. Boy, he just caught it. That's ball 2 outside.
If you watch Dwight Smith here, you'll realize the ball almost dropped out of the glove, but he ran back, measured it, and made a fine play.
He swings and fouls it back.
It's going to be a lot easier for the left-handers to get the job done against Gardner. There's 4 of them in the lineup, and a lot like Jose De Leon, he throws a good breaking ball. That's mighty tough on the right-handers when he gets it over.
2 balls and a strike. Foul back. Marvell Wynn against Gardner was 0 for 4 in Montreal last week. Well, they're here from the University of Florida. Scott Weller. A bouncing ball coming in fast. The throw in time. Foley throws out Wynn. 1 out. That brings up Curtis Wilkerson.
Infielders have to compensate for the fact that the infield is a little hard. It's very dry out there, although they did wet it down before the game, and with no rain for a couple of days, when the infield gets hard, the ball bounces a little bit higher. So you have to be ready to get those hops. Foley laughing because Wallach threw the ball to Gardner. He fell down because there's a patch of sun in back of the mound. He didn't see it. Didn't want to get hit in the face with it.
There's a pitch, foul back. Well, the El Cap gang from St. Pete, Florida. Watching the ball game here. Oh, and 1 the count. Swung and he missed.
You can see Curtis much more proficient from the left side.
Oh, and 2 the count. A little bit high. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out.
Hard to believe that patchwork pitching staff is now tied for the top in earned run average.
I tell you, they've done a fantastic job. They lost 3 pitchers that they've traded to Seattle for Mark Langston, who they later lost as a free agent. There's strike 3 call. A slow curve and beautifully thrown. That's a 3rd strikeout for Gardner.
Really have to hand it to Dave Dombrowski. Not only did he trade the 3 pitchers, wound up losing Langston, but he lost Bryn Smith and Pascual Perez. 60% of his 5-man rotation went down over the winter. And yet he filled in admirably, got some free agents, made some trades, and suddenly he's got a top-flight pitching staff.
Not only did they lose all those pitchers, they lost Hubie Brooks, too. A pretty good hitter, who also became a free agent and signed with the Dodgers. 2 out, nobody on. Swung, and he missed. Dunston had a tough series against St. Louis. He fanned 8 times in the 3 games. 2 out, nobody on.
Sean goes through periods where he can lay off the breaking ball low and away, and then he'll go through periods where he swings at all of those when he gets behind the pitcher. And that's when the batting average starts to sink.
Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I wish he'd start up again. I missed the Shawnometer. To see what happens when you park illegally. Something I've never done. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Little outside. No score.
Gardner likes to drop down sidearm. He dropped down sidearm on Dawson with a breaking ball, and that time went from the side with the fastball.
There's a drive way back. It might be out. No, it's going to be caught near the warning track. Aldretti catches it easily. 1, 2, 3. At the end of 2, no score. Harry Caray back at the ballpark. You know, here's Arnie Harris capturing some of the jockeying. Now, see that motion of Sean Dunston? This is why. Now, here's Tim Raines mimicking Sean Dunston. That's good camera work. You get it all here on Channel 9. Here's a pitch a little bit low. And Davey Martinez, who fanned his first time up.
He's got the pine tar up just about as high as you can get it. The rule states that you can't have pine tar on or above the label, and he's got it just below that label.
Swung, and he missed. One of the bat boys today is John Carambelis. Spelled backwards is Salamark. Johnny Carambelis.
Davey, one of the few hitters that does not believe in batting gloves. That's why he uses all that pine tar so he can get a better grip. And he's battling a sore thumb right now. He jammed it diving for a ball. You can see it heavily taped.
Where can you put the pine tar and where can you not?
It can't be on or above the label.
Well, if it helps you above the label, it ought to help you below. A lot of guys get jammed.
Well, Harry, I had a hit taken away from me in this park because I grabbed some pine tar and I picked up the bat. It got on the label, and Steve Yeager, the catcher for the Dodgers, complained, showed my bat to the umpire, and they took me off first base.
A likely story, you getting a hit.
It's true. I didn't get many, but that one was taken away.
Martinez flies out to Marvell Wynn. Rachel Dillon from Manuka celebrating her 17th birthday. Sweet 17 and never been kissed. They're the executives of WGN TV. They're celebrating Bill Lutzer's retirement. I think he's had more retirement parties than Jack Brickhouse. Here now is Spike Owen. I always kid Jack. I haven't seen Jack for a couple weeks since we went to Pete Van Auken's day down in Peoria. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch a little bit low. We're in the 3rd, no score.
Spike Owen hits 40 points better from the right side. But 2 of his 3 home runs have come as a left-hand hitter. The RBIs evenly divided at 10 and 10.
Look at Tim Raines. There's a high pop foul out of play.
It'll become very important for the Expos if Raines does prove severely injured when the bone scan is taken tomorrow. Marquise Grissom is starting a rehab at Indianapolis tonight. They don't know how long he's going to be down there or how many games he will play before he'll be ready to come back, but they could use him if Raines does go down.
Boy, the Boston Red Sox and Toronto Blue Jays. There's Dennis Martinez. We've shown him before. There's a pitch popped up. Spike Owen pops up right in front of home plate, and Joe Girardi makes the catch. 2 out. You know, Toronto goes in that game at Boston, leading the Red Sox by half a game. They jumped the gun quickly in the first. They got 3 runs. Red Sox came back and got 6. Toronto now gets 2 in the second. And so Boston's lead as they bat in the bottom of the second is 6-5. Now that's the kind of ball game when you see a lot of action.
And a lot of pitchers with high earned run averages.
The pitch, a little bit outside. Stephanie and Joe Buds celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary.
This Buds for them.
Swung and fouled back into the stand.
Walker is a good outfielder with a great arm, and despite the fact that he's not hitting as well as he'd like, his defense has stayed constant for the Expos, who are number 3 in the league defensively.
There's a pitch a little outside, 3-1. Larry Walker walked his first time up. He is only 1 out of 9 against the Cub pitching this year. There's a drive, deep left field. Smith going back. He can't make the catch. Where's the ball? The ball's lost in the ivy. We know it's not a home run, so they can forget about that. And there's Wright Smith looking for the baseball. Come on, baseball. Come on, baseball. There it is. That's a ground rule double anyway.
12th
on a
double,
baseball lost to the ivy.
12th double of the year, and this one just over the head of Dwight Smith. Then when he can't locate it, all the action stops.
So Walker has doubled to left. And now that brings up Galarraga, who lined a single to center his first time up. And now Girardi started to trot out there and stopped, came back.
This is the first time a man's been on second base. And so there's a new set of signs. That's why Joe trotted out. But Bosky says, I got him. Let's go.
Strike call over the outside corner. The Freebergs are here from Winterset, Iowa. A little bit inside.
Galarraga is experimenting with the positioning of his hands. He says now he's got the hands a little bit more away from his body, trying to compensate for the inside pitches. He says when he gets his hands too close, everybody jams him. So you'll watch the hands just out away, and he'll drop them into the hitting position.
He swung and he missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's a place to get him because he's fanned 68 times, and many of them on sweeping breaking balls out of the strike zone.
The Duncans and the Yarboroughs are here from Bolivar, Tennessee. 1 and 2. Fouled it back into the stand. The librarians of the American Library Association in Louisiana are here.
That's that quiet group in the corner.
Which corner? On the center field bleachers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a high pop fly down the right field line in foul territory, and Mark Grace could not make the play. You know, getting back to those libraries, You know, of all the places that you meet good-looking and interesting women, the libraries, they say, this is supposed to be a matter of fact, the libraries are #1 on the list.
Well, you know, it's surprising you say that, Harry, because on the off days, Arnie Harris and I frequently go to the various libraries around the major cities that we visit. She was at the library.
We met her at the library yesterday, didn't we? There's a pitch foul. You guys, yeah, that is true. You guys do go to the libraries. The day after, I tell you that I was there the day before.
Quite a bit we've done that.
Let's see that gal we just saw again, Arnie.
Arnie's passed out in the truck.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. A runner at second base. We're in the top of the 3rd. Hey, if Tim Raines, a player, can fool around and joke around, we can too. The pitch. Whoa, look out, foul though. Forget about it. He got out in front too fast and hit it too far, but it was foul, fortunately.
That's the difference between going inside for a strike and just going inside 6 or 8 inches off the plate. If you go in that far, if a guy does make contact, he pulls it foul. Now's a good time to bury it inside.
A little bit high. 2-2. Speaking of librarians, greetings to Lucille in Spring Lake, Manhattan, Illinois. They struck him out. A low inside pitch. And Galarraga wanted to stop his swing, but he had gone around. 1 hit, 1 left. We go into the bottom of the 3rd, no score. Harry Caray and Steve Stone as we go into the bottom of the 3rd, no score. They're here from Omaha, Nebraska, George Tarr and company. The pitch to Joe Girardi. 1 ball, no strikes.
Both of these young pitchers had an outstanding duel in Montreal, and tonight it's more of the same. Both pitchers dominating early.
The delivery, here it is. Curveball in there, a beauty, and the count is evened up. That little Cubby fan. Who's winning? Who cares? Here's the pitch a little bit over the outside corner. Dennis Fitzsimons, the boss man of Channel 9. Everybody's here from Channel 9 today. You saw all of them sitting in the luxury box celebrating the retirement of Bill Lutzer. Tell me the truth, Dennis. Who's had the most retirement parties, Jack Brickhouse or Bill Lutzer? Brickhouse still ahead, he says. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, foul. 2-2. At the end of 2 innings in Boston, Boston 7, Toronto 5 in a battle for first place. Beautiful night here at Wrigley Field. Young glove. There's a little pop fly. My drop. It does. Girardi loops a single to center. That's a 2nd hit for the Cubs.
Sean Bosky does not have a sacrifice this year, but he says that he doesn't mind pitching with the wind blowing out because he intends to hit a couple of home runs before his career is over. I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to do it right here in a 0-0 ball game. You certainly want to see the sacrifice, and he'd like to push it at Andres Galarraga.
Girardi batted as a pinch hitter against Gardner and struck out in Montreal. This time he loops a single to short center. So he's 1 out of 2 against him.
You know, Bosky's got the ability, if Wallach continues to charge like he just did on that throw to first, to just draw the bat back and try to bounce it over his head. Wallach is right in on his doorstep and moving closer with every passing moment.
He bunts foul. Now, Bosky is a fine athlete. He has the action of a ball player. He was originally signed as a third baseman. We've seen Mike Harkey do that. And Bosky looks like a likely candidate for faking the bunt and just bouncing the ball by the on-charging infielders. The lead by Girardi. A little outside. That evens the count. A ball and a strike.
Santovania throws the ball pretty well. Girardi's stolen 5 bases, been caught twice. Sometimes you think about the bunt and run as you look at Buck Rogers, a candidate for manager of the year.
He's not a candidate. He's got it, I think. The job he's already done. There's a ball, bunt and foul. 1-2. All right, Sean, turn it into a base hit. Bosky has had 4 out of 16 hitting .250.
Last year's manager of the year, Don Zimmer. And what he's saying is that Bosky has got the bat too close to his body. You've got to extend it, get the hands out, and square around.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There goes a runner. Line drive, base hit in the left center field. Girardi going to third base with the runner breaking. Sean Bosky lined a single in the left center. And with nobody out, the Cubs threaten to score.
Gardner throws an inside fastball and it tails inside. When you've got a pitcher 0-2, a breaking ball, especially Gardner's breaking ball, is the pitch. He made a mistake. He didn't realize that Bosky's a good hitter, and Girardi's going. A bold call by Don Zimmer, 0-2. And Bosky makes it pay off. Runners at the corners, nobody out.
And here's Dwight Smith, who fanned his first time up. They're here, a couple named Petto Frezzo from Winter Park, Florida. I wonder what the temperature is down there. First and third, nobody out. Curveball outside, ball 1.
I know what it is in Phoenix, Harry. It's 114.
It was that the other day, too.
Not real pleasant down there these days.
Palm Springs always beat you about 4 degrees. 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody out. Slow curveball over the outside corner. 1-1. That ball looked like it was in the very same spot as the first one, which was called a ball.
Walker and Martinez have good arms in the outfield. Walker just a shade better. But Aldretti, a converted first baseman, does not have a particularly good arm in left field.
1 ball, 1 strike. Runners first and third, no score, nobody out. A high inside fastball, ball 2. Boy, at Boston, Toronto has scored in each of 3 innings. 3, 2, and 2. The Red Sox have scored in 2 innings. 6 and 1. So they're tied 7-7. Boston batting, bottom of the third.
Usually that means the curveball's coming.
There's a drive into center field. I think it's deep enough to score the run. There's the catch. Here's a throw towards the plate. Save. Girardi tags up and scores on Dwight Smith's sacrifice fly. And boy, Davey Martinez made an outstanding throw.
RBI number 12, and it was the breaking ball, and it was down. So a good piece of hitting by Dwight Smith to get it just far enough. Martinez with a great arm. Takes a couple of steps and comes up firing. But Joe Girardi just a little too fast. And we'll watch the throw one more time. You don't make too many better throws from center field than this. It is right on the button.
I didn't think he would even throw to the plate. I thought he'd throw to second base. Boy, a fine arm, but it didn't do him any good because the Cubs lead 1-0. Here's Sandberg. What a year this young man is having. Just absolutely sensational, no matter where you look at it. 1 ball, no strikes. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strike. Line drive, left field. Whoa, what a catch, what a catch by Mike Aldrete. Holy cow, what a remarkable play. Did you see him diving through the air? And he saved another run. A great catch, robbing Sandberg of an extra base hit.
This is an outstanding play by Mike Aldrete. It doesn't get any better than that, and the knowledgeable and appreciative Wrigley Field fans give him a tremendous hand. Full extension on the part of Aldrete. This is a wicked liner. It's rising, almost getting over the head of Aldrete, but he pulls it in at the last instant.
All right, here now is Grace. Boy, what a play. Line drive, that ball may drop. Nope, it's going to be caught. Aldrete, Johnny on the spot. However, the Cubs score 1 on 2 hits. Tom Brenneman will be coming along in a moment. Harry Caray from Wrigley Field, where at the end of 3, the Cubs lead 1-0.
With our producer director Arnie Harris and Steve Stone, Tom Brenneman back at Wrigley Field under the lights in Chicago, a 1-0 Cubs lead. And how about that catch from Mike Aldrete? We saw Lenny Dykstra make a wonderful grab earlier in the year. That one may have been as good.
It was an outstanding catch, especially when you consider that he's a converted first baseman. Now he's getting a lot of work in left field. They just don't get any better than that.
Sean Bosky and Mark Gardner again outstanding, as each was the last time they faced one another.
The more you see of Sean Bosky, the more you have to like him. He is a real good athlete, as illustrated by the base hit.
1-0 Cubs in front. Tim Wallach to lead it off here in the top of the 4th inning. Wallach bounced to second base, his first trip to end the 1st inning with 2 men aboard. Fastball away, 2-0.
Wallach was red hot, and then the Cubs cooled him off in Montreal. And as you can see, that batting average down from the 320s to just above 300.
He rips this one to the left center field gap. Smitty dives, can't come up with a baseball. It'll go to the wall. Wallach just coasting into second base. And he now has 23 two-baggers this season.
Dwight Smith getting a good hand. This is a tough play on a sinking line drive. He tries to equal Mike Aldrete, but comes up a little short. Ball hits off his glove and bounds away. Buck Rogers said something interesting to Wallach. He didn't want him to be concerned with the power. He wanted him to drive in a lot of runs and hit the alleys. And this is an illustration of him taking the ball to left center. He's also worn out right center this year. And you can see Wallach atop the leaderboard with doubles.
Mike Aldrete grounded to Sandberg to lead off the 2nd inning. Takes a fastball up. 1-0. Aldrete came over from San Francisco in the deal for Tracy Jones. Jones has since gone to Detroit and now makes his home in Seattle.
5 clubs in 3 years for Tracy.
1-1. And Tracy Jones was a guy, the Reds organization, where he originally started, they felt he was going to be a great one. And I don't ever think I've seen a better platoon system than when Jones and Cal Daniels split time in left field back in that '86 season.
The only one I think better, and because I was personally involved with it, was Renicky and Lowenstein in left field for Baltimore. They combined for 47 home runs over a couple of year period. They provide a lot of power, but Daniels and Jones was a good one. You know, his career turned around, I believe, when he went over the bullpen mound in Cincinnati and tore up his knee the first time. Because this is a man with all kinds of potential, and the Reds had tabbed him as being a man to play every day in their system. But after that knee injury, he just was never the same.
I think you are exactly right on Tracy Jones. 3-1 now to Mike Aldrete. Had great speed, a big, strong guy, still is.
And a tough guy who liked to play the game and play it aggressively. He kind of ran afoul of Pete Rose, I believe, in a couple of instances, and that prompted the trade to Montreal.
3 balls, 1 strike. Nobody out. Top of the 4th inning. It'll advance a runner to third. Sandberg on the grass tosses him out. 1 away. And Wallach at third base, so Aldrete gets his job done.
Well, by now, the birthday party is in full swing for a good friend of mine, Joyce Sloan, who's enjoying many a year at Second City. So happy birthday, Joyce.
Nelson Sanavina, the Expos catcher, will step in. He fly to center field his first trip. Tying run only 90 feet away. And the Cubs infield drawn in here in the 4th inning. Another good save by Girardi, 1-0.
It's a little unusual to bring the infield in a 1-run game this early in the game. But apparently Don Zimmer figures that Mark Gardner is a pretty tough customer. He doesn't think they're going to score too much, and so he wants to cut it down right here. But you sure open up a world of possibilities with the infield in. That little looper or the ground ball not at an infielder goes through, and you could start a big inning.
Bosky from the stretch, the 1-0 delivery, and the count is even. Well, Gardner, through 7 innings in Montreal, gave the Cubs just 1 run. Bosky did not allow any runs.
I thought the reason why he's given up the run tonight was bad pitch selection to Bosky. 0-2. He's got a great curveball, one of the better curveballs in the league. He throws him a fastball and winds up with runners at the corners and nobody out.
This will get the run in and maybe more. Marvell going back on the warning track, looks up, it is gone. Nelson Sanavina clubs his 5th round tripper of the year, and the Expos lead for the first time. It's 2-1.
RBIs 21 and 22. And for Sean Bosky, the 5th he's given up. Santavania got sent down to the minor leagues, and since he's come back, he's been a force in this lineup. He gets a fastball right down the middle, and with the wind blowing out, he hits it just far enough.
You know, I'd like to get back to that pitch selection by Gardner. Were you a little surprised that Buck Rogers didn't pitch out, knowing the way Zimmer likes to use the hit and run?
Interesting situation. I felt that he thought Gardner was going to strike him out, and he felt if he could strike him out and also throw him out, he might be ahead of the game. But sometimes you got to look at this stat sheet to realize that Bosky's a pretty good hitter.
0-2 now to Tom Foley. Buck Rogers, certainly a leading candidate so far for the National League's Manager of the Year. His team lost its top 3 starters in Mark Langston. You look at Sanavina, Pascual Perez, Bryn Smith, and maybe their 2nd or 3rd best RBI man in Hubie Brooks. Down goes Foley swinging, yet he has assembled a pitching staff which is 2nd best in the National League, and they're awfully tough.
Well, he's done it with a lot of spare parts from other teams, and he has an advantage in Montreal, Tom, in that when you bring a pitcher from someplace else into that park, he is going to a better pitcher's park than he came from. Unless, of course, he came from St. Louis, which is the best pitcher's park. But you can get away with a few more mistakes in Montreal than you can get away with any other place.
Here is Gardner. Back over the screen. 0-1. Gardner hit the ball very well into the left center field gap that Dwight Smith had to make a fine play on.
Outfield around toward right center field for Mark Gardner, and they're not very deep.
0-1 pitch. 0-2.
See Joe Girardi telling Bosky to get the ball down. When you're a tall pitcher, and Bosky is at 6'3", you've got to be more conscious of bending down.
Got him looking. 4th K for Sean Bosky, but not before the Expos get a couple of runs on 2 hits. Nobody left through 3.5. Montreal 2 and the Cubs 1. Welcome back to Wrigley Field. The sun fading gently away to the west, and we are almost completely in dark, or not far away. Andre Dawson leads it off in a fly ball to shallow right, a long run, but Walker with good speed, one away. 2-1, Montreal in front, thanks to a 2-run home run from Nelson Sanavina.
One of the things we haven't talked about is the great speed of Montreal and the fact that coming into tonight's action they had stolen 115 bases. However, with Delino DeShields, Tim Raines, and Marquise Grissom not in the lineup, it pretty much takes away that great running game that the Expos had to put them where they're at. So now they've got to adjust once again. And you can see they're on top, but they've been thrown out 54 times, a worse percentage than St. Louis.
Here's Marvell Wynn. He grounded to second, leading off the second. Well, some good news, I guess, when you look at the three names you just mentioned. Raines will be back very soon. Marquise Grissom is on the comeback trail. He was sent to AAA Indianapolis for injury rehab.
Well, Raines is taking a bone scan tomorrow, and they're going to take a look at it because it's not healing quite as quickly as they thought it would.
3-0 now to Marvell Wynn.
This is a team that desperately needs Tim Raines, though, because not only stolen bases, but he gives them another key RBI man. You've got Galarraga and Wallach, and they will drive in some runs, but they need Raines to stay competitive.
3-0 pitch. 3 balls and a strike. And I think that's a testament to how well this team has been put together by Buck Rogers and Dave Dombrowski. The fact that they've brought along young players. The younger players have gone down, but they have filled in some of the cracks by acquiring a guy like Tim Foley, Spike Owen. So when some of these people have gone down, Dave Martinez, they still play good baseball.
Dave Dombrowski is not afraid to make a deal, and he's not afraid to let go of some free agents. And the two big free agents on this ball club are Kevin Gross and Zane Smith. Now certainly they'd like to keep Gross, but if they do somehow fall out of the race, look for them to make a deal with Zane Smith, because a lot of people need a left-hander. And rather than lose him, they might want to get something for him down the road.
First walk given up by Gardner, and Curtis Wilkerson, who struck out looking, fouls one away. There have been rumors that Gross and another player, maybe Tim Raines, would be headed to Boston in exchange for Mike Greenwell.
You know, they talked about Greenwell, and that's been rumored all year, but the reality of it is he's knocked in something like 17 runs with only 2 home runs, and that'd be a lot to give up. And Dombrowski said he doesn't want to give up much pitching while he's still in the race. Talked with Dave before the game. He was here with Bill Stoneman. Stoneman handling the financial and business aspect of the ball club, which is unusual for a former player, and Dave Dombrowski handling the baseball end of things. And he's a young, aggressive general manager, cut from a different cloth, a man not afraid to make a deal, and pretty aggressive as far as trades are concerned and acquisition of free agents.
0-1 pitch with the man at first. Pitch out, nothing doing, but Sanavina fires down, and Wynn just did get back. Well, at age 32, as you take another look,
there's that pitch out you were talking about, and they almost catch Marvell Wynn leaning the wrong way.
July the 5th, 88 is when Dombrowski took over. I said 32. He's the youngest decision maker in the area of trades in all of baseball. And I like seeing that kind of aggressiveness.
Can't agree with you more, and he learned under a good man, a man who's now the general manager of the Baltimore Orioles, Roland Heeman, who taught him a lot in Dave's days with the Chicago White Sox. Roland now on to duties with the Orioles. Had a great year last year.
1-1. A little bit low. 2 balls and a strike to Wilkerson. 2-1, Montreal in front. Bottom of the 4th inning. Man at first and 1 out.
You have to be heads up for the good move of Gardner, because I'm sure Montreal is thinking that Marvell Wynn is going to go right here. And if you happen to guess breaking ball, it's a good pitch to run.
Good lead for Wynn at first base, and it draws another throw. The Mets and Cardinals even at 1, top of the 3rd inning. The Dodgers 5-1 over Atlanta now in the bottom of the 6th. Houston 1, San Diego nothing, bottom of the 3rd. Cincinnati 5, San Francisco 1, bottom of the 7th inning. And the Pirates in front of Philadelphia 5-0. Now in the top of the 6th.
You saw our pitch counter at 60 pitches, and that is a lot of pitches through 3 1/3. Most pitchers really start to lose their effectiveness right around 90, 95 pitches. Some of the stronger ones will go 100, 110. But early pitches work like a fighter taking body blows early in the fight. You wear them down and get them later.
2-2 now on Wilkerson. Gardner has 3 strikeouts so far in the game, but all 3 came in the first 2 innings. Check that. There goes a runner. And a foul ball. So Don Zimmer for the 3rd time tonight starting the runner.
I like to see that. Zim's not sitting back and waiting for the long ball. He realizes that his ball club right now, outside of Ryan Sandberg, even Andre Dawson in a bit of a home run slump, you can't wait for the long ball. You have got to stay aggressive. And he's trying to do that against Montreal.
One down in the inning with Marvell Wynn at first base. 2-2 to Wilkerson. Here's the pitch. Again, the runner off. Throw down by Santovenia, and it sails over the head of Spike Owen, but a heads-up play from Tom Foley to keep the ball from going into center field.
Stolen base number 3 for Marvell Wynn, and indeed a very fine play by Foley. Marvell could have easily been standing on third. Foley looks like a wide receiver coming across and making the catch. Marvell gets a good jump, and Santovenia gets off a bad throw.
Full count to Wilkerson with a tying run at second base. Waiting on deck, the shortstop Sean Dunston. Marvell a good lead. 3-2 pitch. Galarraga's got it. He'll tap the bag, and advancing on to third, Marvell Wynn 2 away.
Galarraga, fine fielding first baseman with just 6 errors this year. Mark Grace only has 5, so both of these guys playing tonight can handle the glove.
Sean Dunston fly to left field to end the 2nd inning. Sean looking to add to his RBI count of 36. Sean 1 for 4 yesterday. Struck out 3 times. Had a double and was thrown out at the plate by Willie McGee. Thought about it, laid off, takes strike 1.
Gardner has not thrown a wild pitch this year, but he has balked 3 times. You start thinking about a breaking ball pitcher without a wild pitch. It's a testament to the catchers of the Montreal Expos, because a few of those breaking balls have to wind up in the dirt.
From the stretch, 0-1 delivery, and it brushes him back.
It brushed him back by Joe Girardi. That was a long run for Sean Dunston.
Sean Dunston has not batted home a run since the 13th of June.
Take a look at this sprint.
And that is a rather significant date, because it was also the same game in which Andre Dawson homered his last time. Fouled out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Speaking of significant dates, 124 years ago tonight, George A. Custer in the 7th Cavalry took on the Sioux at Little Bighorn, Montana.
Yeah, great day for George.
And they came in second. They could have easily have watched the Cubs and the Reds play that day and saved a lot of aggravation.
You got that right.
I think Harry did the play-by-play in that one. I'm not sure.
He's told me about it many times. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, chopped to short. That's like money in the bank for Owen. Forget about it. No runs, no hits. A man stranded at third. After 4 innings at Wrigley Field, 2-1 Montreal. yes. A bicycle built for two. Perhaps, Tony, you and I could come to the ballpark that way someday.
Yeah, that'd be a real good idea.
Yeah. 2-1. Montreal in front of the Cubs as we begin the fifth inning. It'll be the leadoff man, Dave Martinez, followed by Spike Owen and then Larry Walker. Martinez 0 for 2. Struck out swinging. And then his last trip fly to center field. The pitch. Strike one on a breaking ball. Martinez is having a fine year for Montreal.
When he first went to Montreal, he had a problem because he was in more of a crouch than he's in now, and he was hitting a lot of fly balls. That's not his game. He's more upright these days.
1 ball and a strike.
He credits Hal McRae, the hitting instructor, with flattening out his swing. Hal's a great proponent of not hitting off the front foot. He likes even weight distribution and keeping the weight back.
2 balls and a strike. It's paid off for Martinez. He has batted safely in 9 of his last 12 games, hitting at a .415 clip with 8 runs, 7 batted in, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs. 3-1. Full count now on Martinez as he fouls it into the seats.
The Expos are no strangers to close ball games. They've played 70 games, and 42 times the game has been decided by 1 or 2 runs. And they have won more than their share of the close games. That's why they're where they're at 40 and 30 and knocking at the door for first place in the East.
Well, all you have to do is look at close games and compare these two teams. Tells a very graphic tale of why the Expos are just a half game out and why the Cubs are in the Eastern Division cellar. The Cubs only 7-16 in 1-run games, while the Expos are 16-11. Full count on Martinez, leading off the 5th. 1 away. And a chance to visit with Rhino on the pregame show on the radio side, talking about the All-Star game. And it's something that he is looking very forward to if he happens to make it. He was a leading vote getter. He will make it. But I guess you never really know until the managers actually make the selection. Roger Craig has that duty this season should Sandberg not receive the votes to start at second base. But he says he can't wait, and that he takes great pride in it. You hear a lot of players say they want the 3 days off.
Well, should Rhino not win, which I don't believe is going to happen, and he's not picked by Roger Craig, Roger's going to have a tough stay in Chicago.
Sean's got it. Fires a strike to Mark Grace, and they did not get him at first. Well, I don't know about you, Steve, but I had a tough time telling exactly what happened right there.
It goes as an error on Mark Grace, and we'll watch it again. Sean winds up, fires across. Mark gets handcuffed by this ball, and you can see it just getting away. That's a good camera angle to see what happened. Dunston really doesn't need to pour it across. He throws it low, certainly a ball that should have been handled, and it came in so hard that it almost pushed his glove into the ground. But Mark picks up his 6th error of the year.
And this ball is pulled foul by Larry Walker. Walker 1 for 1, doubled his last trip. He walked in the first inning and was stranded along with Galarraga. So an error charge to Mark Grace. So Grace and Galarraga each with 6 now on the season.
Fred Tuck of Fred Tuck Buick on hand tonight, as is Ray Gieselman of Ray's Buick and Mike Cook of Bill Cook Buick. All on hand in this overflow crowd at Wrigley Field.
Larry Walker, only the 5th native Canadian to play in an Expos uniform. The last was Doug Frobel in 1985. And a chance to ask Steve Wilson if he ever played against Walker, both coming from Vancouver, British Columbia. said no, but Steve played against his older brother.
Johnny?
And Red, I think, was the middle brother. Well, they have red and black. Get a look at Steve Wilson, also a native of Canada. Owen back. Count still 1-1 on Larry Walker with Andres Galarraga due next. 2-1 game, Montreal in the 5th inning. 1 down, 1 on. Tomorrow night, it'll be Oil Can Boyd 3-3 against Greg Maddox 4-8. Blew that one right by him.
And he got that in the spot that he wanted. You want to throw the ball up on the inside corner to Walker, you can throw it by him there. He's very strong, as you saw earlier when Bosky got the ball up and away from him, and he doubled in the 3rd inning. But he hit the spot that time, and another one would look pretty good right here.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Just missed the black on the inside corner. So the count even on Walker at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Owen a lead at first base. There he goes. Pitch taken, throw down by Girardi, and they have got him dead to right. Girardi is really zinging that baseball.
What a fine throw by Joe Girardi, and he's checking with Charlie Relaford to see if it was strike 3. But there's no doubt about the decision at second base. Harry Wendelstedt has an easy call. For the 3rd time this year, Owen is cut down, and he's cut down by plenty. Joe Girardi throwing the ball right on the button.
And Sean walked him. 3rd walk given up by Bosky. So a man at first with 2 down, and here comes Galarraga. Girardi was not intimidated in any way, shape, or form by the Cardinals base runners this trip.
After 8 stolen bases in the finale of the St. Louis series in St. Louis, he showed Vince Coleman that he had something for him. He threw him out both at 2nd and 3rd. And Girardi gets better and better throwing the baseball. He's got a fine arm.
Ball 1 to Galarraga, who's 1 for 2. Singled in the 1st, struck out to end the 3rd inning.
You know, Tom, it's not only the arm that tells the tale with a catcher. It's both the transfer from glove to hand and the footwork. The guys who do it quickly are the guys that get the ball down there on time.
And Dick Pohl, you may remember, called all the pitchers into his office to get together with Don Zimmer about working on their moves to home plate after that St. Louis ball game.
And it's worked wonders because the pitchers now are giving Girardi a shot. And you see Girardi motioning to Bosky to step off the mound. They want a different set of signs here. Tommy Harper is the man that works with the base runners of the Expos, and he's done a pretty good job. Now we'll watch the shift from the glove to the hand, bringing it low across the body, and the 1-step delivery.
Broken bat, flare into right center field, a base hit. Walker with good speed will go to 3rd easily. So almost a carbon copy of that 1st inning. A walk to Walker, a single by Galarraga. They're on the corners for the 2nd time, and Tim Wallach coming up.
You can only go to the well so often. Now, he showed Galarraga the first couple at bats that his whole card against him was to get the ball inside. Well, you keep going in there, and eventually a good hitter is going to adjust. Galarraga also has that hole low and away with a breaking ball. And I think the next time up, it's about time for Bosky to exploit that. If a guy has a weakness, you just can't keep pounding him on that weakness, because eventually they're going to make an adjustment.
Walker at 3rd, across the diamond. Galarraga at first base. 2 down for Wallach. Thought about it, lays off the breaking ball away. 1-0. Wallach 1 for 2. Doubled his last trip, scored on Santaviña's home run. Do you think, though, that maybe the little encounter between Galarraga and some of the Cubs pitchers last week has something to do with Bosky trying to work him inside all the time?
No, that's the book on Galarraga. He's going to show him that he's not intimidated by the encounter that they had when he threw one way high and tight to him. He also threw one about 2 feet behind his back. But you have to vary your pitch selection to good hitters, and Galarraga falls into that category.
The 1-1 delivery from Bosky, and Wallach drives it into right center field. Marvell giving chase, and that's the inning. No runs, a hit, an error, 2 men left. Through 4.5, Montreal in front by 1 run. A strange moon perhaps out tonight. We had a man juggling earlier, a bicycle built for 2, and how about this routine out on Waveland Avenue? A little nighttime golfing. Joe Girardi flies to Martinez, 1 out.
It's the Waveland Open going on during the ball game. You never know who that's going to attract with the amount of money these days in golf tournaments. These guys are playing for the big stakes. And he missed. He was off to the right.
Man, oh man, you hang around long enough, you will see it all here at Wrigley Field. And then some.
It's a great place to come see a baseball game, even if you're on the street outside.
Sean Bosky singled his first trip after falling behind 0-2 to Gardner. And it helped the run get home in that 3rd inning. Girardi advanced on to 3rd, and Dwight Smith cashed in with a sac fly RBI. Smitty's on deck. 1-1.
Wind not much of a factor at all right now. So if you're going to get it out of here, you're going to have to hit it.
Again, the breaking ball misses in. 2 balls and a strike to the former 3rd baseman, Sean Bosky.
Well, he says he's going to hit a couple of home runs before it's over for him.
Well, like a 3rd baseman, he chases that high heat. 2-2.
Might have to bring it down a little bit, however. And the way he's thrown the baseball in his 7 major league starts, he'll have a lot of opportunities to hit the ball out of the park, because he looks like he's going to be a good one.
Struck him out swinging. 4 strikeout for Mark Gardner. First since Curtis Wilkerson went down with a 2nd out in this 3rd inning.
Gardner's record at 3-3 is deceiving. He's had some bad pitching luck. Overall, the Expos have won 8 games that he's pitched in, so he's been a valuable member of that pitching staff. And when you come in with an ERA at just 2.19, you know you're doing the job. He is the one homegrown pitcher on this entire Montreal pitching staff.
Dwight Smith, 0 for 1, a sac fly RBI, his 12th batted in of the season in that 3rd inning. 0-1. And opposing teams continue to shade him toward left field. 0-2.
It was a good split finger, and that's what's made Gardner the winning pitcher. The good curveball has always been there, but now he's getting everything over the plate. And there's a look at the defense as Arnie pans around.
1-2 on Dwight Smith. 2 down. Nobody on in the 5th inning. Montreal up by a run. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Mark Grace was kidding with Dwight Smith before the game. He said in AAA they had kind of a rule that nobody could pal around with these 2 guys unless they hit 300, because both of them always over 300. Then he walked away from Smith. He says, now we can't pal around with one another because we're not even close.
Mark Grace very impressed with Mark Gardner after that initial encounter in Montreal last week. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He feels like Gardner's curveball is every bit as good, if not better, than Jose De Leon, and that's saying something.
Also probably as good as Dennis Martinez, although maybe not quite as consistent.
Payoff pitch. Slapped just on the top of the Cubs dugout. Good thing that one didn't go in the dugout or into the seats.
I think some of the fans were saved some bridge work by the fact that it just hit the edge of the dugout and bounded away down the left field line. That's going to chase Lloyd McClendon out of the dugout. He's heading down toward the bullpen. He said, this is the danger zone. I've had enough of that.
There is a drive to deep left center field. Back it goes. Gone. Dwight Smith goes the other way with his 4th home run of the year.
Home run number 4, RBI number 13. And there's a look at the 1989 version of Dwight Smith, who drove the ball with authority to left center field. Well, there's flashes of 1989 as far as Dwight Smith is concerned. And for Mark Gardner, only the 5th home run he's given up in now 82 1/3 innings.
2-2 game. Here's Ryan Sandberg. Rhino 0 for 2. Grounded to third and was robbed of a base hit on a liner to left. This one in foul ground for Wallach. And that's the inning. But a solo home run from Dwight Smith ties this game up at 2-2.
It's a welcome sight for Cub fans. Dwight Smith home run. And the Chicago Tribune round tripper replay shows that it went around 365 feet to left center field.
Our producer director is Arnie Harris. With former Cy Young Award winner Steve Stone, I'm Tom Brenneman welcoming you back to Wrigley Field. A brand new ball game. 2-2. Mike Aldrete leads it off and takes ball one. Here's another angle down the left field line.
Well, Tom, you mentioned with the wind blowing out here, you never can be too sure where the ball is going to wind up. And this one wound up about 3 rows deep.
1-1 to Aldrete. Twice he has bounced out to Ryan Sandberg.
Forget about that 0 for 2. He's the difference in this game. He made a great catch on Ryan Sandberg, stretching full out in left center field.
2 balls and a strike. The Expos held first place by 1/2 game for 1 day. After beating the Pirates on Saturday in Montreal, they have been in first place a total of 6 days this season. Previously, back on April the 21st. They played very consistent baseball all season long. 3-1 now to Aldrete.
100 pitches so far, and that illustrates the fact that Sean Bosky has yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. So he's been in some jams tonight.
There is another drive. Left center field. Marvell going back on the track, and he will make the grab. What a play as he gets a high glove 5 from Dwight Smith.
And we are witnessing some fine defense tonight. Marvell Wynn robbing Mike Aldrete of at least 2 bases, maybe 3, as he goes up high right in front of the ivy to haul it down. And that is some effort by Marvell Wynn. They're watching the replay and enjoying every minute of it. Boy, we've seen 2 fine games yesterday against St. Louis and tonight against Montreal.
I think you can make the case that Bosky does not have his quote-unquote best stuff tonight, yet he is keeping his team in the ball game. He's walked 3 men. And here's a guy who burned him the last time, Nelson Sanavenia. He had a 2-run home run.
Sandy Koufax wrote an autobiography, and he said that you only have your great stuff 25% of the time. And what you do with the other 75% separates the men from the boys on that mound. You've got to learn to win with less than your best, and when you have it, you have to adjust.
Ball and a strike to Sanavenia. Waiting on deck, Tom Foley, the Montreal second baseman. 2-2.
If your number 1 pitch is not as good as it should be, what you have to do is pitch in good spots with your number 2 and 3 pitches. And that's what will give you a good performance.
Swing and a miss. I read where Oral Hershiser, and this was one of the most interesting theories I've ever heard of pitching. He will only use, he has an assortment of say 6 or 7 pitches. And he looks at a game in terms of sets. 3 innings first set. Middle 3 innings second set. He will save 1 pitch for the second time around in a batting order, and then another pitch for the third time around. So a batter, in essence, when you hear somebody say he's seen the entire repertoire of a certain pitcher, with Hershiser, that's not always the case.
Well, I go back to the days of Hall of Famer Juan Marichal with San Francisco, and I used to marvel at the fact that he would come out and he would do it in halves. First 4 or 5 innings, if he was a fastball pitcher, the second half of the game he would throw breaking balls, screwballs and curveballs, or vice versa, depending on how he felt on a given day. But when you have to go through a lineup 3 or 4 times, you have got to give the hitters a different look, and the great ones do just that.
Shallow left field. Smith a long run, and he will get there. So Bosky does indeed collect his first 1-2-3 inning. We're in the middle of the 6th at Wrigley Field. 2-2 game. Well, here's a movie star, and speaking of movies, tomorrow night on Channel 9, his old buddy Steve Martin is dumped by his girlfriend and ends up joining New York's Lonely Guy Club. It's that wild and crazy guy at his best. Don't miss The Lonely Guy tomorrow night at 7 on Chicago's very own Channel 9.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. Hit it here, Mark. Let's hope he does.
That means, of course, first baseman Mark Grace. 1 for 2 has hit the ball sharply each trip, but this time to his counterpart Galarraga. 1 away.
I don't know about this Murray fellow. The Cubs falling on hard times, and Bill Murray has put his Cubs cap away and is wearing what looks to be an old St. Louis Browns cap.
He is a true die-hard Cubs fan, however. We'll at least give him that. Comes to Wrigley Field anytime he can, and yes, we'll enjoy the cold one every now and then.
Every now and then.
It's pulling for Andre Dawson to make this a 3-2 game. Dawson 0 for 2 is struck out and fly to right field. Mark Gardner on the mound, again pitching well. So too Sean Bosky, 0-1. "28 years old, Mark Gardner. And in his first full year now in the big leagues, he has been nothing shy of outstanding. Second only to Jack Armstrong in the National League in earned run average.
It was a longer climb to the big leagues for him than Sean Bosky. They did it 2 different ways. He's just establishing himself, as is Bosky, but he's 5 years older than Sean. He dominated AAA last year, 12-4 at Indianapolis, and was one of the toughest pitchers in minor league ball in the country.
Off the end of the bat, little squib job to Galarraga. Gardner's got it, 2 down. He was named the AAA Pitcher of the Year. Spent 4 seasons in college baseball, and I guess that would be the major difference, the fact that he completed his degree at Fresno State.
I played in Fresno my first year in organized baseball, and it is hot. So you got to like to pitch there. And they've turned out some fine athletes out of Fresno. Jim Maloney, one of the great ones.
Marvell Wynn, 0 for 1. Walked, stole a base in the 4th. Stranded at 3rd with only 1 away. Wilkerson grounded to first, and Dunston ended the inning on a ground ball to Spike Owen at short. Ball and a strike. Expos 2-1 against the Cubs this year. Chicago got the best of them last season, going 10-8. Tim Burke on the disabled list, but that bullpen has done a remarkable job in his absence.
That's Bill Sampson now getting up, starting to toss.
High fly ball, deep right center field. Walker at the wall. It is out of here.
Welcome to Wrigley Field, Mark Gardner. Home run number 3, RBI number 9. And with the wind blowing out at all, and it's not blowing out hard, all you have to do is get it up in the air, and Bill Murray is standing up. He likes that. And so does everybody in the dugout.
Cubs 3, Expos 2, bottom of the 6th inning. 3 home runs in this game. Solo shots from Wynn and Dwight Smith for the Cubs. A 2-run home run by Nelson Sanavina in the Montreal 4th. Marvell, a native of Chicago, came back home in the trade with San Diego last year, and he's going to get a lot of playing time with Jerome Walton on the DL. 1-1 now to Curtis Wilkerson.
It's going to be a long climb for Marvell Wynn, who came into tonight's action hitting just 143. But Don Zimmer still believes that he is going to hit. He was one of the key factors for the Cubs at the end of the year last year. He's a much better hitter than this. And Don Zimmer is hoping that with some extended play, he's going to come around and become a force in that batting order.
Into the seats. Another look at Marvell Wynn's 3rd home run.
It's a fastball out over the plate, and Marvell just barely gets enough. And the Chicago Tribune round trip replay shows the home run goes about 379 feet.
Mark Gardner very stingy with a home run ball coming into this game this season, but he served up 2 of them so far. It's 1-2 on Wilkerson. 2 down, nobody on, bottom of the 6th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Sampson continues to get loose down in that Expos bullpen.
Gardner had only given up 4 home runs in 78 innings coming into tonight's action.
Didn't get him, but just missed. Full count. Sampson, a native, born in Lincoln, Illinois, makes his home now in Havana, Illinois, not Cuba. There is a drive, center field. Martinez makes a catch and then crashes into the wall. But the Cubs come up with a run on the solo shot from Wynn. Harry Caray's coming back in the 7th through 6. Cubs 3, Expos 2.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman as we go in the top of the 7th. Here's a rookie catcher, Jerry Goff, coming up to bat for Mark Gardner. A left-hand hitter, the first pitch a little bit low.
Goff hitting just 158. His first opportunity this year to pinch hit. That'll bring Bill Sampson into the game, and Sampson is putting together some year. 6-0 with a 1.77 ERA.
Here's the pitch to Goff. A little bit low. 2 balls and the strike. 2 balls, no strikes.
The pitches are starting to pile up now for Sean Bosky. So Dick Pohl will watch him closely.
The low, ball 3.
He's right around the 110 pitch mark. And it's a humid evening. So I would think that Don Zimmer would be looking over his lineup card, and Bosky's gotten him where he wanted to be in the 7th inning without using the middle relief.
Goff's only 3 hits and 19 times at bat in the major league. Young catcher, left-hand hitter. 3 balls, 1 strike. Cincinnati beat San Fran tonight, 8-2. Strike 2 call. 3-2. Jerry Goff hitting 158. No homers, no runs batted in. Now the pitch. Fouled it back. Tonight's designated Bud batter is Linda Brower from Paris, Tennessee. Linda Brower, congratulations. The designated run batter winner tonight. The pitch. Ball 4, Goff walks. Before the 7th inning of every regular season Cubs game televised on WGN, Budweiser and WGN TV announce a designated Bud batter. If any Cubs player hits a home run during the 7th inning, the designated Bud batter earns $100 immediately and shares in a $10,000 bonus pool given out at the end of the season. We'll draw a name during every game from among the fans who write in. If you're 21 or older, you can send your name, address, and telephone number to Bud Batter's Box, Post Office Box 12208, St. Louis, Missouri 63157. And good luck to you.
The ever-present duo of Paul Ossenmacher and Les Lancaster up in the bullpen.
There's a tough cookie, Davey Martinez. Curve outside.
Right now, Bosky's just going on competitive spirits because he's pretty much lost it out there. He's hoping to just get through this inning, I believe, and I don't know how patient Don Zimmer is going to be. The breaking ball is starting to hang. He's starting to push the fastball. And the youngsters throwing a lot of pitches tonight.
Well, Pittsburgh shut out Philadelphia 5-0. Rick Reed, whom the Pirates just brought up from the minor leagues, was the winner. De Jesus was the loser for Philadelphia. Runner at first. Cubs leading 3-2. The pitch. A high pop fly. Sean Dunston should get it in short left, and he does. Martinez is 0 for 4 as he pops to Dunston. One away. Here's Spike Owen. This guy doesn't hit much in average, but you trace Montreal's game, and every time it seems like he's involved in a game-winning rally or a game-tying rally. He's got 22 RBIs with 3 homers.
Let's take a long look down at Tom Reynolds, who's the third base coach.
Spike Owen, his brother Dave, played with the Cubs in '84. 1 out, 1 on. Curve is outside. The score in that Cincinnati victory over the Giants is 5-2. Jack Armstrong, the All-American boy, won number 10. John Burkett lost to the Giants. There's a hit and run. He throws his bat at the ball to protect the runner, and does by fouling the pitch back. 1-1. Burkett is now 7-2, and Armstrong 10-3. Kevin Mitchell hit number 18 for the Giants. Benziger number 4 with 2 on in the first for Cincinnati. One pitch.
Goff does not have a stolen base, and so Owen, realizing with a catcher at first and hit and run on, he had to do everything he can to protect.
Curveball a little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. Cubs leading 3-2. The Cubs have had 2 homers, and their 2 runs were accounted for by Nelson Santovena's 2-run homer in the 4th.
A little surprised that Buck Rogers hasn't gone to Otis Nixon or Rolando Rooms to pinch run for Goff.
There's a throw to first, a runner back.
And those are the 2 pinch runners extraordinaire, especially Otis Nixon, who's stolen 24 of 30 this year. He is very fast.
The News follows the ball game. 2 balls and a strike. There's a curve a little bit low. Ball 3. Asemacher, the left-hander. Lancaster, the right-hander, in the bullpen for the Cubs.
And look at Rolando Rooms, who was acquired on waivers from the Cincinnati Reds.
Good lead. Ball 4. And that's 2 walks in a row here.
I think Zim's got to go get him. He's at the 122 pitch mark, and he's pushing the balls.
So he has worked 6 1/3 innings. And Zim is looking over he's going to flip-flop his batting order. He's writing it down, and he'll report to the plate umpire, Charlie Rutherford. And the Expos, there goes Domingo Ramos to play 3rd and hit 9th. Ramos will be batting 9th. He'll be the 3rd man up in the 7th inning. We'll be back with more following this message. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. You're watching Domingo Ramos warming up, throwing the ball over to first base, and there's Paul Asemacher, who's won 2, lost 1. He saved 2. He comes into a key spot with only 1 out. Runners are on, 1st and 2nd, and Larry Walker is due to be the hitter.
Asemacher on for the 36th time. He's got a couple of saves. He won the ball game yesterday, throwing an inning in relief, giving up 1 hit and striking out 1. That's what the league is hitting against Asemacher.
So Walker will hit for himself. He has had 2 walks and a double.
Walker's grounded into 4 double plays this year.
Top of the 7th. 3-2 in favor of the Cubs. Asemacher's pitch. Curveball inside. Look at that outfield. They're playing Walker to hit towards left center. He's got a big gap. Now they're moving Marvell Wynn back a little more towards center field. There's a curveball in there, a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Larry Walker, the hitter. 1 out of 1 so far tonight. There's Zim. Bouncing ball in the right field, a base hit. The game is tied. Here's a throw to the plate, which is ill-advised throw at that. He had no chance after he juggled the ball. There was no chance to throw the man out at the plate, and that's not like Andre Dawson to do that. Now the runners are advanced to 2nd and 3rd. On the throw to the plate.
One of the rare bad plays by Andre Dawson. Looked like he might have tried to throw to Mark Grace, who was the cutoff man, but he took his time, really. And when the trailer goes into 2nd, it takes you out of a double play situation. So with Andres Galarraga up, it's exit Assenmacher, enter Lancaster.
Lancaster will be the new pitcher, Lancaster.
So Lancaster coming in, and we'll have more following this message. Well, they draw. Harry Caray and Steve Stone. There's Les Lancaster. The paid attendance has been announced. 32,231. Yesterday for our day game, they had approximately 2,000 more. And this is a lovely evening. And now, the outcome of this game depends on Les Lancaster.
Lancaster at 5-3, the ERA 4.94, on for the 28th time. 4 of those performances starts. 2nd and 3rd, only 1 out.
Now the pitch, here it is. Fastball is high. Galarraga started the game. The Cubs won in Montreal in the 9th with a single off Lancaster. There's a high fly ball. I don't know. It's not very deep. There's a catch. And here's a throw. Cut off by Grace at the mound. So there's 2 away as Galarraga fly to Marvell Wynn in short center. 2 gone. And now they have a base open if they want to get rid of Tim Wallach.
Galarraga is not happy with this at bat. He gets jammed with a fastball. And Marvell Wynn makes a good solid throw to the cutoff man, Mark Grace.
And so Spike Owen had a hold at 3rd base.
Andres threw his helmet down, and he is not a happy man.
Swings and he fouls it back. Well, Tim Wallach, this is their big man. Their big RBI man. He leads the National League in doubles. The stern face Don Zimmer. They've tied it up here. The pitch. There's a base hit. Center field. 2-run score. And they've taken the lead. Wallach lined to single to center.
Zim gambled that Wallach, a right-hand hitter, would have less success against Lancaster than Aldrete, the left-hand hitter in the batting on deck circle. And here he bloops it into center field. RBIs 46 and 47. And Wallach makes him rue that decision.
Here now is Aldrete, 0 for 3 so far. There's a drive. Deep right field. Dawson back. off his glove. Another run's going to score. It'll be a double for Aldrete.
Two-base hit, RBI.
Dawson had to go back. He leaped. He had the ball in his glove. Couldn't hold it. It's ruled a double, and another run is in.
It's only the 6th RBI of the year for Mike Aldrete, who hits this ball very hard. Andre Dawson with a good effort in right field. But just as he gets to the ivy, he sees the ball bounce out of the glove. So all 3 pitchers scored on. And Sean Bosky gave up 4 of them. Ossenmacher 1, and now Lancaster 1.
4 runs are in. A 6-3 lead for the Expos. Here's Santovenia. A line drive in the center field, a base hit. Another run's going to score. And the crowd is not in a happy frame of mind. 5 runs are in. 7-3 lead.
Nelson Santovenia, rejuvenated after his stint in the minor leagues, comes up with RBI number 23, his 3rd of the day, and a home run and a single.
Here's the 9th man to bat in the inning. Foley. Pitches outside. Over the outside corner for a strike. A little bit low and outside, pops out of Girardi's glove. Term Foley 0 for 2. Joe Kramer warming up in the bullpen. He swings and he misses. Foley behind on the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Los Angeles has beaten Atlanta 5-2. Ron Gant hit his 15th for the Braves. Low and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A pinch hitter, Jerry Goff, started us batting for Gardner and drew a walk. Struck him out to end the inning. 9 men batted, and 5 of them have scored. We go now into the bottom of the 7th. The Expos 7 and the Cubs 3.
Chapman will be the new pitcher. He will bat 6.
Harry Caray back to the ballpark. There you see our good friend Bill Murray. That hat he's wearing is a Salt Lake City Trappers. He owns a minor league ball team. And he's wearing the, I guess he bought the ball club so he'd get a free hat or cap. Bill Murray, the funny man. Here is Dunston now to lead off. Sampson.
Bill Sampson on the mound at 6-0. The ERA 177, on for the 26th time. 2 starts among his appearances.
He used to be with the Pirates. Sean swings and misses.
He's got a slurve somewhere between a slider and a curveball, and it's a good one. He was very effective against the Cubs in Montreal. They took a gamble on him, acquiring him from the Pittsburgh Pirate organization.
Curveball low and inside. He's won 6, lost none. No save. Otis Nixon now in left field, replacing Aldrete. There's a high fly ball. Davey Martinez under it. 1 out. Dunston flies to Martinez. 1 out. Here's Joe Girardi. It is 7-3. A big 5-run 7th inning. One out, nobody on. Girardi is 1 out of 2. Scored a run in the 3rd, the first run of the ball game. There's a high fly ball. Davey Martinez back under it, and he has it. Two up, two down.
You can acquire players a couple of different ways. Obviously, the free agent route and via the trade route. But also, there's a major league draft. And if you're left unprotected in that draft, you can be acquired by another club. And that's how Montreal got Bill Sampson from the Pittsburgh Pirates. They drafted him from the Double-A Harrisburg roster in the major league draft on December 4th of 1989. And what an addition he has proven to be for the Montreal Expos.
Ramos fouls it back. They're the rooftop occupants. Now they notice that they're being shown on TV and they're waving.
Wonder why you wave at the television when you see yourself on television.
You wonder about some of the strangest things. The pitch is a little bit outside. Well, they got 5 in 1 inning. Let's get 5 ourselves. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swung and he fouled it back. Well, you know, this is a tough ball game. You're leading 3-2. You have a young pitcher out there. You're trying to bring him through. He gets into trouble. He walks 2 men out of the first 3 faces in the 7th, retiring only 1. That was Martinez. Then you go to your bullpen, and they don't do the job at all. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Did he go all around? He did. 1, 2, 3. At the end of 7, the Expos are leading 7-3. Even Bart says so. Boy, that Simpsons are all over the place. All right. Here's Otis Nixon, who replaced Aldretti. They flip off their batting order. Nixon is batting in the pitcher spot, and the pitcher will bat in Aldretti's spot. One ball, 2 strikes.
Dale Mahorsic loosening up in the bullpen for the Expos.
Nixon, very fast. Hitting .214. That evens a count, 2-2. Fouled out of play.
Nixon's a good outfielder, and it doesn't matter if he plays left, center, or right. He's a great base runner. And the only thing that's kept him from being a star at the major league level is his inability to steal first.
You know, looking back, base hit down the third base line. And there goes Nixon on his way to second base. Boy, he can fly. Nixon doubles to left.
Only his 2nd double of the year, and that one hit the third base bag. And there was no doubt Nixon was in for 2. Took the high hop when it hit the front of the bag, and you can see Fred Brocklander motioning fair.
Looking back at that 7th inning, the key play of the ball game with 2 on and 1 out was Larry Walker, and Paul Alsamacher came in to face him. If he gets Walker out, Lancaster's going to pitch to Galarraga, and you're out of the inning. But Walker's single to tie the game, and when Dawson made an ill-advised throw to the plate, the trailer pulled up at second base. Then they pitched to Wallach, and he singled both men in. Runner at second, nobody out. A little outside. Evens it up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Davey Martinez, the hitter. There's a drive in the center field going to be caught by Marvell Wynn. Martinez flies to Wynn. He's 0 for 5 today. 1 out, 1 on. Spike Owen, who also walked. Bosky, that's what beat him tonight. 5 bases on ball. Two of them in the 7th inning. Both bases on balls scored. Because then 4 hits followed. They got him picked off. Second base, he's out.
That was a great move by Lancaster. A reverse pivot. Nixon had an idea about stealing third, and Dunston on the false break moved behind him. The reverse pivot by Lancaster as he stepped off and had enough on the throw to nail him at second base. Great pickoff by Lancaster and Dunston.
He kind of throws out of his hip pocket. Look at that. Dunston had the beat on him, and the throw was there. 2 men out, nobody on. Spike Owen, the hitter. Well, there's Otis Nixon talking to Andres Galarraga. 2 balls, no strikes. The Cardinals have tied up the Mets 2-2 at the end of 6. Spike Owen. Ball. 2 balls and the strike. They play Owen towards left field. Strike is called. 2-2. There's some finals. The Dodgers beat no, that's not right. The Mets are playing the Cardinals. Cincinnati beat the Giants 5-2. Cincinnati won the game from the Giants. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 out, nobody on. A high pop foul out of play. We're in the top of the 8th. And the Expos are out in front 7-3.
Cubs had the edge on the Expos last year, beating him 10 out of 18 times. The Expos have not taken a season series from the Cubs since 1986. But this year, Cubs 1-2 against Montreal coming into tonight's action.
There's a pitch high, ball 4. That's the 2nd time in a row that Spike Owen has walked. And that'll bring up Larry Walker, who had the most important hit of that 7th inning when they scored 5 runs.
He also has yet to be retired this evening with 2 hits and 2 walks.
The throw over there, and he's back. The Mets didn't score in the 7th in St. Louis. A little bit outside, ball 1. We're in the 8th. 7-3 Montreal. Ball low and outside. Austin Mocker allowed 1 hit, 1 run to face 1 man. There's a strike call. Sean Bosky allowed 5 hits, 4 runs. And Lancaster's allowed 5 hits and 2 runs.
Nothing left for a guy with power to do in this situation but swing as hard as he can and try to hit one out. So Lancaster's got to make a good pitch. Walker's got good power, especially the other way.
He fouls it back. 3-2 now.
He took the mask right off Joe Girardi with this foul tip, and this is a wake-up call for a catcher. He gets hit hard with that one.
What do you think he would look like if they weren't using masks? 3-2. He walked him. That's a second in a row. The portrait of a manager whose team is having a bad year.
Frustration etched on the face of Don Zimmer, and there's nothing he can do. He's had to revamp that bullpen. He's got pitchers pitching out of position. With the absence of the stopper Mitch Williams, you're forced to use Lancaster and Assenmacher in roles that are difficult for them. They're used to being set-up men. Suddenly they've got to become stoppers, and it's tough for Zim. The bullpen a big problem, no doubt about that. And at this point, there doesn't look like there's much of a solution.
Here's Galarraga. He's 2 out of 4 today.
That's Damon Berryhill catching in the bullpen. It's good to see him back.
Swung and he missed. In the bottom of the 8th, the Cubs start with the top of their batting order. Gets away from Girardi. Might be a pass ball.
Wild pitch.
Wild pitch. It must have hit the ground.
Third wild pitch of the year for Les Lancaster. Things starting to deteriorate for the Cubs. Lester throws this right in the ground, and Girardi cannot keep it in front of it.
Well, what's that happy birthday doing now? Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside. Runners second and third, 2 out. They batted around in the 7th inning. There's a breaking ball for a strike called. 2-2. A high foul ball maybe might be in play. Nope, it's in the stand. A souvenir for somebody. Andre Dawson, who for 10 years was a member of the Montreal Expos. Two balls, 2 strikes. Low ball 3. Hey, the Red Sox have taken the lead over Toronto. 10-7 now. He struck him out on a bad pitch. Well, we go in the bottom of the 8th. Montreal leading 7-3. Harry Caray and Steve Stone. We go in the bottom of the 8th. The Cubs are 4 runs behind. 7-3. Here is Dwight Smith, who homered in the 5th to tie it up at 2-2. Then Marvell Wynn homered in the 6th. There's a ground ball. Nice pickup by Galarraga. Easy out on the first pitch.
Andrus had to come in and almost smother this ball. He couldn't wait for the hop. So most infielders are taught to choose their own hop. Andrus, a good glove man and very quick at first base. Can see him put it down the short hop, and he makes the play easily.
Here's Sandberg. Nothing out of 3 was robbed on a sensational catch by Mike Aldretti in the 3rd. Breaking ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out.
Sampson's got to come in with a fastball here. Odds are with a 4-run lead, and that's a pitch that Sandberg might just drive out of the ballpark. He's as hot as anybody, and if he gets it middle of the plate in, he can hit it as far as most anybody.
The Expos a 121 loss, 12 at home. He's had his cut, he had his pitch, but he fouls it back. On the road, they've won 19 and lost 18. The Cubs are under 500 both on the road and at home. Fouls it out of play.
This is a solid Expo team built around pitching and speed. They don't have a lot of long balls, but they're tied for the top spot in the ERA race in the National League.
And more important than that, they're second in team pitching. The Cubs are 13 and 21 at home, 16 and 21 on the road. He struck him out. Boy, this Sampson. How could the Pirates ever allow him to be picked by another team? And how could other teams have missed him? He looks like a very effective relief man. He's already won 6 and lost nothing in his first major league season. Here's Grace. Over the outside corner, curveball. 0-2.
Sampson's got a good breaking pitch. Doesn't break quite as sharply as Mark Gardner, but it certainly is effective.
There's a fly ball in the center field that's going to be caught by Davey Martinez. At the end of 8, it's still Montreal leading 7-3. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field as Hector Villanueva now playing first base as they flip-flop their batting order. As Joe Kramer comes in to pitch, Villanueva will hit in the pitcher spot 9th. 6th rather. He replaces the pitcher, which would be Lancaster, in the batting order.
Joe Kramer on for the 18th time with a 7.50 ERA.
Here's Wallach. Takes the pitch inside. Wallach hit a 2-run single in that big 7th inning. There's a high drive. Deep left center, going to be caught. Dwight Smith has it. Wallach hit it off the handle too far. Didn't hit it on the sweet spot. 1 out. You know, this Bill Sampson was born in Lincoln, Illinois. Went to McMurray College in Jacksonville, Illinois. So he's a nearby product. He's only 27 years old. Joe Kramer's pitch. Sampson lifts a high fly ball to right. It'll be caught. 2 out. And here's Santovenia, who started their scoring with a 2-run homer in the 4th to put them ahead 2-1. Then the home runs by Dwight Smith and Marvell Wynn gave the Cubs a 3-2 lead until the 7th. Remember, the news follows the ball game.
When Santovenia came back from the minor leagues, he decided that he would lay the bat on his shoulder, which would remind him to get his hands in the hitting position. And since he's done that, starting about the 3rd game in his minor league stint, he's hit the ball pretty well.
1 ball, 1 strike.
One thing that Hal McRae says, who's a hitting instructor, he doesn't try to change anybody. He works within their natural style. Just tries to smooth them out, but he doesn't want to change the stroke too much.
1 ball, 1 strike. Swings, and he fouls it off. A lot of the spectators now have left their seats, probably on their way home or someplace. It's almost 10 o'clock in Chicago. The White Sox are underway out in California. No score at the end of 1. The Cardinals and the Mets are 0-0 at the end of 7 in St. Louis. 3-2 now on Santovenia. He drove in a run in the big 7th also. He has 3 RBIs for the day. Fouled it back. A souvenir. Same 2 teams tomorrow afternoon at 1:20. Leadoff man at 1 o'clock. Struck him out. Santovenia out on strikes. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Montreal leading 7-3. Caray back at Wrigley Field. The producer director for Chicago Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. The coordinating producer is Bill Borson. Our assistant director, Joe Corneo. We go into the bottom of the 9th. Here's Andre Dawson, 0 for 3. Bill Sampson going for his first major league save. He's won 6, lost none. With an earned run average of 1.77. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sampson throws a good sinking fastball and has that sharp breaking pitch to go with it.
And he challenges the hitters. He's not intimidated by them at all. Bill Sampson still lives near Lincoln at Havana, Illinois. Only 27 years old. Base hit. That's the first hit he's allowed, a single to left by Andre Dawson. Sampson had retired 6 men in a row, 2 of them on strikes. There's Marvell Wynn, who put the Cubs ahead in the 6th with a home run into the right center field bleachers. But then came the 7th.
Dave Schmidt warming up in the bullpen, and he's become the stopper for the Expos. In the absence of Tim Burke, Schmidt has been sensational with 9 saves.
And also 2 victories and nary a defeat. Marvell Wynn. A high pop fly on the infield. That would not be a home run in a phone booth. One away. And here's Hector, the hero of yesterday's game. Hector Villanueva. Hector has had quite a year. He's only batted 39 times. He has 11 hits, good for 26 bases. He's had a double, a triple, and 4 home runs with 10 runs batted in. Fouls it back. Remember the news that you usually see at 9 o'clock. We'll be with you right after this ball game. One on, one out. Villanueva. Curveball in there. Sampen, he spells it S-A-M-P-E-N, now lives in Havana, Illinois. Is born in Lincoln. Havana's great hunting country. Remember Red Shandy's and Marty Marin used to go hunting there a lot. There's a drive, deep center field, way back, but it's going to be caught. Davey Martinez near the warning track makes the catch. 2 out. Two gone, and here's Sean Dunston, 0 for 3. A day game tomorrow. And Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the Cubs hit the road through the West for the final time. San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And then everybody will be back here for the All-Star game. High pop foul out of play. Dunston in a little bit of a slump. Two men are out. Well, the Red Sox have taken over first place in the American League East, beating Toronto 10-8. There's Dawson at first. 2 gone. Hey, swings and he misses. 0-2.
Sean not happy with that particular cut, but he's facing a good breaking ball pitcher. And you can see by that graphic that he's had his problems with Montreal.
Shaw now leads the team in strikeouts with 40. There's young Bill Sampen, 27 years old, baby-face looking guy. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Cardinals batting in the bottom of the 8th, tied with the Mets 2-2. Pittsburgh already won its ball game. There's a hit. Dunston lines a single to center. So with 2 out, there are 2 on, and here's Joe Girardi. No, Gary Varsho is going to hit for him. Varsho is going to bat for Girardi. Varsho.
Gary Varsho will bat for Girardi.
Has only been to bat 5 times, had 1 hit with the Cubs. He hit about 300 with Iowa before being called up.
Gary's got good speed. He's not a home run hitter, but he's a line drive hitter, and he can make things interesting with 1 in the gap right here. Dave Clark in the on-deck circle.
Varsho